Yep, absolutely. So did
So
you
yeah,
guys?
oh sorry, to continue on with the ferry. I'd say the most challenging part about that was the dogs. Traveling with your dogs is a little tricky on the ferry. Just the way they have it set up. They accommodate you the best they can, but it's a large moving vessel with lots of machinery and vehicles down there, and they got to keep everybody safe. And there's a lot of people that handle their dogs differently, and you got to clean up after your dog, and there's not really a designated place for your dog to go. So it's really weird for the dogs because they don't even feel like they should be going there. They're not used to it. We train them not to go in places like that, and then that's where you're now trying to get them to go. We had one of our dogs, we definitely held it for a couple days.
Mhm. Yeah, no. So I mean, I remember taking a dog on the ferry at one point too, and I mean, she held it for like 3 days until we got off the boat. It's
Yeah,
like, oh, that can't be good.
yeah,
Can't be good long term.
yeah,
But
definitely.
yeah, so for people who are kind of wondering what is the ferry's policies on dogs. So a lot of questions I get from people, hey, can I take my dog up with me up on the main deck? Can I have the dog with me? Can you know
No, what was interesting is there were a few people who had their dogs cruising around the ferry with them wherever they went, but they were therapy dogs. So they had the therapy vests on. And I don't know if that was something they figured out, like a little loophole, like, hey, I got a therapy vest. Now I can take my dog everywhere. But that was only a few people. Everybody else had to keep their dogs down on the lower deck with the vehicles. And we were allowed to visit them every 4 to 6 hours, just depending on what was going on. And you were able to take them off at certain ports. So that was nice. We were able to get out, stretch the legs, run the dogs around on some real grass and stuff, and then hop back on the ferry. That was really nice.
yeah, I almost wonder if there's a way you can, because I know like some breeds of dogs, they're like really known for being anxious. And I mean, it does stay fairly loud down there in the, down there on the lower deck where you're keeping the dogs, because you've got all the machinery going on around there, and it does get pretty loud down there. I wonder if there's a way you can like soundproof the car.
I'm
But
sure everybody had different setups, that we were seeing. I bet you could.
yeah. So did you guys like book a cabin, or did you do the sleeping out on the deck?
Yeah. We did not book a cabin. We decided to go ahead. We thought it'd be fun to sleep out on the deck. And it was fun the first night or two, but then it was torrential rains for the next 3 nights. So we ended up just pulling our tent down. Our tent actually got soaked in Ketchikan. There was a deluge in Ketchikan, and we went into town when we got back to the boat. The water, there was so much water on the deck, it actually went underneath the tent and permeated the bottom of the tent somehow. So everything got wet from underneath. Uh,
uh
so we pulled our tent and stuff and just went under the awning, which was really nice because they have like heat lamps there, and that was great. And they have like lounge chairs that you can use, and we slept there for the next 3 nights, I think. And by the fourth or fifth night, everybody else had pulled their tents off the deck. Literally, it started with like 10 tents on the deck, and by the fourth or fifth night, there was 0 tents left. The weather just got so bad. Everybody pulled their tents down. I mean, we were saving tents from flying off the side of the boat. That's how bad the wind was getting.
yeah, that's probably not what people were signing up for when they initially went out there.
Yeah, I guess you just never know. We asked some of the ship guys if the tents ever actually blow over the side, and they said that it happens every once in a while, unfortunately.
Yeah, and it's like you hope there was no one in it, but
At least hope none of your good stuff was in there.
yeah, hopefully you don't have like all your primary identification papers, like your social, your passport, all that good stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah, your nice sleeping bags, or you know,
Oh, yeah, that wouldn't be good. Because
no.
I've done the thing where I've tried to go like sleep in like the forward lounge in the ferry
Mm,
before, and it's it's more comfortable than not. It is definitely not designed for people to just be sleeping in there though.
No, no, it was interesting. I think if we did it again, we probably would get a cabin. But a lot of people were complaining about their cabins being really stuffy and hot. It was really warm when we left Washington, probably for 24 to 48 hours. It was really warm and humid. And so it was nice to be on the deck at that point. And the people in the cabins were complaining it was hot and stuffy. But later, once it was rainy and cold, then, they were fine and we were miserable.
The tables have turned.
Yeah.
So did you guys just bring food with you on the ferry, or were you able to use like all the galley setup and everything they had there?
We did a little of both. We brought some of our own food and snacks and alcohol, actually. And then we did use some of the boat services too, which was nice. The food actually was, not bad. Had a couple decent meals on there. Just depends what you got, what you chose to get. Yeah, it was great.
Oh, good deal. Good deal. Do you have any other than probably getting a cabin for next time, any tips you would have for people who are considering going the ferry route?
Well, if you are taking your dogs, you have to get all their paperwork in order, before you show up, and they definitely check you out. You got to have all their current vaccines and all that good stuff. So that's something you definitely want to get in order. Other than that, I would say the tent thing on the deck is pretty fun if it's not rainy. And you want to figure out ways to strap down your tent on the deck, which everybody uses duct tape, of course. But we were finding that people have, there's different grades of duct tape out there. So you want to get the beefy, like Gorilla Glue duct tape, because in the rain and all those conditions, that actually seemed to work okay. The flimsy, cheap duct tape wasn't working for people.